I'm your biggest fan.
So, I'm doing something different today, talking about the Game Awards with my best friend, childhood friend, XYZ Cruncher. XYZ Cruncher is an X-Defiant YouTuber that you might have heard of. Just thought, hey, I've never done this before, but I want to do it a little bit more. Why not start here? You know, you can only really get better at these kinds of things if you do it once. Is there anything you want to say? You want to advertise your X-Defiant content?
Yeah, I make game reviews on YouTube. At least I used to. It's been a while, but yeah, we'll be getting back on the horse soon. I promise.
He promises. But why are we here today? Tell me.
We're here to look at the Game Awards nominations. The good, the bad, the ugly, the Elden Ring DLC. All of it, every little bit of it.
I didn't know Elden Ring had DLC. Have people been talking about that?
Maybe here and there in niche circles on the internet. You know, maybe on like 4chan or like the deep web or something.
It is kind of a niche game. Yeah. Oh, I should also mention the man himself, Keighley, is here. It's like,
oh shit.
Yeah, like I don't know how we booked him, but you know, say hi, Keighley. What a guy. What a guy, you know. It's just, you know, you don't always get the opportunity to talk with an industry legend, but here he is today. And he's going to be giving his input on these. And you know, of course, he doesn't vote on these. And so there's no collusion or anything like that. And he's not going to be influencing our votes.
Definitely.
Yeah. So I think we should get right into it. We're not going to be something from Game of the Year. Like, we're going to be something from esports.
Esports?
Yeah, like right at the end. It's the least interesting part. And it's like, I feel like if you start at the top, you're only going to end up at the bottom. You know what I mean? Okay, so best esports team. Are you on the page?
Yes, I am.
Yes, you are. All right. This is a good thread.
I mean, the only one I've heard of is Team Liquid, which is, I believe, Moist Critical's team. Billy I've also heard of, but I don't think it's associated with Billy I'm thinking of, which is like a Chinese like YouTube knockoff.
I know exactly what you're talking about, and that's what I was thinking. Is like, isn't Billy? There was a Switch 2 leak the other day that happened on Billy. I don't know if you saw that, but that's wild.
Wow, I didn't even know that. Yeah, I guess I'd go with Team Liquid because I don't know any of the others really.
Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. I don't know how the rest of that goes, so I'm gonna vote Team Liquid as well.
Nice. Yeah, sticking to one game forever, whether it's speedrunning, playing esports and stuff like that. It seems very taxing and very draining. It's something that I personally couldn't do because I like to jump from game to game. And but yeah,
it's respectable.
But my vote's probably for Faker just because he's the one I know. So
I like the cut of Alexis's jib, so I'm gonna vote for him. It's like really hard to really care about these categories. I get why they're here. But the esports stuff is, it feels like it's here out of necessity because it will bring in sponsorship and whatnot. And because it is such a big part of the industry. But best esports game, I don't have any comment to make about any of these games. Besides CS2, which I played a decent amount of. I just think Bang Bang is a funny name. And I kind of want to vote for that just out of spite. So I vote for them. What's after esports game? Content creator of the year. Yeah.
Yep.
Keighley, what do you think? Okay. Right.
Interesting.
I don't think he knows PewDiePie is like not. He's an old YouTuber at this point. I get that he likes PewDiePie, but it's not on the list. Keighley, I would think you would know this, but me personally, sorry.
I think he's trying to remain neutral. Is what he's doing.
Yeah. That's. Yeah. You're right.
Next category is most anticipated game, and I think for my vote, I vote
for the Switch 2. I vote for the Switch 2.
You know what? I vote for the Switch 2 as well.
What are they doing? They're out of their mind.
I've no idea. To be honest, I'm glad they're doing kind of like the Sega thing. You know, like back in the day, Sega just they stretched the Mega Drive or the Genesis, if you're American, out to fuck. Yeah. They said they wanted to keep it around for at least 8 years as a main bread and butter console, which
they said 10 years. They straight up
Wow.
said 10 years is the Switch's life cycle. I can't imagine Nintendo releasing cross-gen games like both on the Switch 2 and Switch 1. So I have to imagine that they're going to be releasing lower budget, like maybe like, you know, like how the 3DS received remasters.
All right, yeah.
I think they are. I think they are probably going to put stuff like that on the Switch 1 up until 2027. But I can't imagine doing cross-gen releases. I also can't really imagine any major accessories coming out like what happened with Sega.
Yeah.
It feels weird for the announcement to be this delayed. You know? Do you think they're going holiday for Switch 2?
For the release, yeah, the reveal, maybe it might be a spring or summer reveal, and they're going to be like, start saving up because it's dropping around Christmas, and then Christmas 2025.
It definitely can't be a summer reveal because they said they were going to reveal it before the fiscal year ends, which that's March 31st. Yeah.
Oh, right. So maybe very, very early.
I've been thinking they're gonna release this game. I mean, release Switch 2 around May. That's what I've been thinking. I can't really imagine them stretching it to holiday 2025. I guess it feels right for the Switch to come out before the summer. They like what they probably try and repeat what they did with the Switch 1. You know, with how it released and Breath of the Wild came out, and then Mario Kart came out after that, and then games were scattered throughout the year.
Yeah.
It makes for a much better launch here than having it come out in the holiday. You could be right. Like, it's Nintendo. No, you know nothing. But we should probably get a little bit. We should probably actually vote for what the most anticipated game is. What is it for you?
I mean, for me personally, look, I am a bigger GTA fan than I am a Metroid fan. I've played almost all of the Metroid games up until this point. A couple of years ago, I got all caught up. I played all of them, including like Metroid 2 and Other M and stuff like that. So I am very much in the know when it comes to Metroid. Only ones I haven't played are Federation Force.
You're missing
out. Oh yeah, I really am. And Prime Hunters I didn't play, which sucks because it has my name in the title, kinda.
Oh shit, yeah, it does, yeah. You're big on Metroid. I feel like I've seen you post about Metroid so much in the past few years, but
yeah,
I sense that you're building up to some ulterior point here.
You know what? Because Metroid Prime 4 won't win it, I'll give it the vote. But the real answer is GTA 6, which is going to win by a landslide anyway.
It's a nuclear bomb. Every other game here is anticipated, but like nothing really compares to GTA 6. It's going to be a landslide, but like you said, yeah, I am going to give the vote to like a Metroid as well.
Yeah.
GTA 6 is going to win it though. And honestly, it's kind of deserved. It's GTA 6.
Yeah. It's one of those once in a lifetime type of games. Like I think you might be a little younger than me, but basically for our generation, I guess, we got two of them in a sense. I mean, we got ones from other series as well, but we got San Andreas, and then we later got 4. But 4, I didn't really. Maybe I was too young for it, but I don't remember the hype. But I remember everyone talking about San Andreas when I was a kid, and they continued talking about it even when 4 was out. And then 5 dropped, and 5 was astronomical. People were taking days off school to go get the game.
I remember the day it came out. Everyone in class was talking. The teachers were talking about it. Like, yeah, I am younger than you, but I'm kind of insulted that you said it because there is a 1 year difference between us. So yeah, no, like you're right. I do kind of remember a time when Rockstar used to drop games consistently. You know, LA Noire came out like 2 years before. No, LA Noire, Red Dead Redemption, and GTA all came out within like 3 years of each other. So when Rockstar releases nowadays, it's an event.
For sure. Oh yeah.
Considering games outside of the most anticipated, I can't really think. My mind's kind of blanking in that. There's definitely games that like I am anticipating, but they feel like hypothetical games. You know, like a 3D Mario or or a new Mario Kart, or like I said, my mind's blanking. So there's certainly other games that have been kind of teased that aren't here. But
yeah, for me personally, I mean, I'm very much in the same boat as you. But for one that's definitively coming out and is happening, but is still probably in very, very early development, or at least in, I guess, maybe beta stages at most, is Dragon Quest 12. That was teased 2 or 3 years ago. Dragon Quest 11 in Japan at least came out in like 2017. I want to say
It's been a while.
2018 in the rest of the world. It was a great game, and it got re-released obviously the Switch down the line. It got definitive edition where you could play the entire game in 2D, harkening back to the old days of Dragon Quest. And yeah, there was like, it was just one of those games that was really big for the series. It's to this day it's considered up there. It's like one of the top 5 Dragon Quest games. 12 is actually said to be a bit of a departure. It's supposed to be I can't remember what the series creator called it, but it was like Dragon Quest for adults or a more mature Dragon Quest or something like that.
Christ.
Which is kind of worrying, but also
They're gonna have tattoos. They're gonna have tattoos and guns.
Oh,
I can't wait.
oh my god. It's gonna
Finally,
be
a
Shadow the
Dragon Quest for
Hedgehog.
me.
Yeah, it's gonna be Shadow the Hedgehog, but like Dragon Quest. There's gonna be a slime with a fucking with an Uzi. He's rolling down the street shooting.
He's gonna be racist.
Everybody.
He's gonna start talking about black creatures. Whoever the protagonist is. It's gonna have? It's not gonna have. Is it gonna have Toriyama's art? Do you think?
Dragon Quest kind of has like a holy trinity of like every game that had kind of gone through. Yuji Horii, the creator and main director of the series, Koichi Sugiyama, who did all of the music, which
They're all retiring, aren't they?
Well, actually, Koichi Sugiyama passed away, and then Akira Toriyama passed away, who did all of the art for the Dragon Quest games, as well as obviously Dragon Ball, Sandland, Dr. Slump, and all those other things. From what I believe, Koichi Sugiyama did most of the soundtrack, had done most of the soundtrack already before passing. And
For 12? Oh, okay.
yeah. And Toriyama had left a lot of stuff behind for the team to kind of complete and base ideas off of and stuff, and he does have loads of disciples. It is looking to be a bit kind of on shaky ground with just Horii on himself, but I believe in the guy. I'm sure whatever they put out will be very good, hopefully. I pray it's not a horrible game. There is no real like bad main series Dragon Quest game, so hopefully it's going to be good.
Something I'm hoping is teased in 2025 and no one won't come out is Naughty Dog has not released a game since 2020, and
Wow.
I'm not like the biggest Naughty Dog fan, but like I can't ever say I've not enjoyed a single one of their games, and it's been enough time. I'm hoping this is the year where they show what they've been doing, which they've been saying they're going to be doing a new IP. Rumors have come out that it's going to be a new IP. That like this is the year for them to finally show what they've been doing all this time, besides the remasters and pseudo remakes. I don't know. Yeah, of these 5 nominations for most anticipated game, GTA 6 is looking. It's gonna be an event when it comes out.
Yeah, it's going to be what happened back in 2015 or whenever GTA
2013, yeah.
Oh, 2013, yeah, when GTA 5 came out. Everybody's going to take time off school. All hell is going to break loose. Game and CEX are going to see the most business they've ever seen in forever.
They wish. Best adaptation. Knuckles.
Knuckles. Oh,
Knuckles.
there's Sonic fan strikes again. You guys will eat anything up, I swear to God.
I'll be honest, I haven't watched it, so I'm just kidding around. I haven't seen any of these actually. I haven't seen Fallout, but I have seen clips of it. My dad watched it.
Oh wow!
So yeah, I know. Like Fallout hit it big with non-Fallout fans, which I think speaks to its quality. And what I've seen of it is really good.
Yeah.
I have considered watching it.
Yeah, I listened to this one podcast. It's completely unrelated to gaming. The one I listened to is called Have a Word. It's a
Have a Word. Okay.
Yeah, it's a cesspool. It's a UK based comedy podcast, and one of the hosts is like an older guy who doesn't really play games, and even he watched Fallout. And when someone mentioned, "Oh yeah, Fallout's like one of the best selling game series of all time," and he was like, "Oh wow, I didn't even know it was like an adaptation," which it just proves your point. Yeah, it's like
Christ.
Yeah,
it's not too surprising because it's like there's a whole world of people that don't know anything about games.
With how big gaming is these days,
Yeah.
you forget how niche a hobby it still might be for a lot of people. There's people
To
who
the
still think there's no money in games, so you throw your
proportionate to how many people there are in the world, it kind of is niche, which is so weird to think about.
yeah, it's
You know,
insane.
like
Yeah,
it's bigger of an industry than movies and music, I think, in terms of value. Which
wow.
because there's you can spend more money on gaming than you can inherently than movies and music. But I honestly I could be completely wrong about that. But what do you think is going to win for a best adaptation?
Maybe Arcane. Uh, Here's the thing: I don't know if it's good or not, but because I've recently been getting into the Yakuza Like a Dragon series, uh,
Mm.
I played Zero, which is, I mean, I've only played it once, so it's hard to definitively say, but it was quickly riding up the ranks of becoming one of my favorite games of all time. My heart wants to say that just because it had such a big impact on me, but I don't know if the adaptation's actually any good or not. I didn't
I
even know it was
heard,
released yet.
yeah, it came out. It came out. Same here. Like it completely shadow dropped. Not shadow dropped, but like it released and didn't make much of a buzz.
Wow,
But the little that I did hear about it, not from my opinion, but from what people were saying, it wasn't very good.
wow,
Because they were
wow.
taking it very seriously, and like from what I know about Yakuza, it's half of it is kind of about like the side stuff that you can do in Kamurocho.
Yeah, Kamurocho.
Kamurocho, yeah. The silly side of Yakuza isn't really represented here. I get
Yeah,
why you would want to vote that though, just based on your love of Yakuza. It makes I kind of want to do that for Knuckles.
yeah. Um, my vote is probably going to go to Fallout in that case because it does seem like a actual good adaptation, and I kind of just
Fallout's
don't want
cool.
to give Arcane the win. I don't want to give Arcane
Fallout,
the win, so I'm going for
yeah,
Fallout.
just because it's illegal, just because it's League of Legends.
Yeah, but also it just seems like
Understandable.
it seems like the obvious pick. Fallout, I do have experience with. I have played a bit of Fallout 3 and Fallout 4.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
might start playing New
I
Vegas
have like
sometime soon, but yeah.
100 hours on New Vegas, and I
Wow.
always forget that it's a great game.
Hmm.
Definitely better than 3 and 4. I would say. I think a lot of people would even agree with that. And Fallout, everything was against this show being good, but like it
Hmm.
managed to be, yeah, the front runner, like you said. I think Arcane is the obvious choice. I think Arcane is probably going to win this, just based on the way people have been hyping it up. I've seen people say it's one of the greatest cartoons of all time.
Hmm.
It's kind of hard for Fallout to compete with that hype. But yeah, I think I am going to vote for Fallout as well.
Best multiplayer.
Best multiplayer, yeah.
Helldivers
Right.
2 and Tekken
Helldivers
8.
1.
I've heard Tekken 8 is a very good return to form.
Tekken 8,
And
I've seen people play Tekken 8 and it makes me want to buy the game.
hmm,
The only reason I haven't is because I'm trying to stop myself from adding to my backlog. Like
yeah,
that's it. It's gone on sale right in my face. Like okay, that's also clarification for the video. Again, we really have not played very. I haven't really played very much. He hasn't played anything this year.
yeah.
My reasoning is because I have so many games that I have backed up from previous years. I've just been trying to go through the backlog. You know,
Same
like
here,
yeah, like it's kind of hard to justify buying new games when you have 20 Steam games in your library that need to be played, and same on Switch and PS4.
yeah.
Um,
I've got
from
so
these,
many. I've
oh, go
got
on.
so many from the PS2 to the GameCube
Jesus
to
Christ.
the DS to more modern stuff. And
Bringing old games into it just makes it so much harder. Like, because
yeah,
there's just so much there as well. From these, I don't know. It's kind of a toss up, isn't it? Uh,
yeah.
Helldivers 2 was making a splash this year. I saw people talking. So much people were talking about Helldivers 2.
Mm,
I think it exceeded Sony's expectations because the game sold like 10 million,
yeah,
which
for sure.
like I think it's like in the top 20 best-selling PlayStation games. Period.
Yeah. Wow.
So, but at the same time, Black Ops 6, I enjoy Call of Duty. I do genuinely enjoy Call of Duty on a general level, but the fact that the games come out every year makes me hate the series. Just what it's done to the industry. The games are fun. And on that note, like Black Ops 6 seems like a genuine return to form. It seems like the best Call of Duty since Modern Warfare. But then it's like Super Mario Party Jamboree is, according to people who know what they're talking about, which again, I'm going to have to say that a lot, apparently like one of the best Mario Party games it's gotten crazy praise. Like they knocked the mini games out of the park. It's a joy to watch and stream. I could tell you that. Like watching people play is really fun. And then you can say the same thing with Tekken 8, which got really high reviews. Although actually, I think something that might go against Tekken 8 and Helldivers, that I don't know if you know, is people are like really frustrated with Tekken 8's heat system. People like just the whole meta seems to be pissing a lot of people off, and then on top of that, they kind of lied about what is going to be in the season pass. Like they released a map and you had to buy that separately even if you had the season pass. Wow. There's been weird things going on with that, and I don't know, did you hear about the whole Sony thing with the Helldivers 2?
No, I didn't know what happened.
Basically, on Steam, on PC, you didn't have to have a PlayStation account to play Helldivers 2. They changed that, and what that did was lock a lot of countries out of being able to play Helldivers 2. It was like there was such a big stink being made out of it.
Oh, right. Yeah, you had to have a PlayStation account. Yeah, I do remember that. Yeah.
I think that's going to be a strike against the game, to be honest with you. Same with Tekken 8. Also with Helldivers, they nerfed the guns to be a lot worse than they were, and people stopped playing the game. I think because of those two major things, I kind of think either Black Ops 6 or Mario Party Jamboree is going to get it. Maybe the hype for Helldivers 2 will kind of overtake the frustrations people were having, because it should be mentioned, if people don't know, this is 90% jury, which is like IGN, Eurogamer, journalists and stuff like that, and then it's 10% us.
Yeah.
I think it should be a little bit higher. I don't know about you. I kind of get why it's mostly journalists, because if it was just people, everything would just be a popularity contest,
Yeah, it could just be like I was talking about earlier, arcane sweep. It's already
exactly.
It's already going to be a sweep for the voters, probably, because there's a lot of hype surrounding it, and the fans are really passionate.
It's recent. That's another thing. Recency bias kind of plays a part here.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, I'm a Nintendo shell, so I'm going to go for Jamboree. You sold me on Mario Party Jamboree. I haven't even seen any gameplay about it. I have heard it's okay.
Yeah, you know what? I'm Team Jamboree as well. The most notable thing about Jamboree is that the meat looked very good. Or was that Superstars? I actually don't know.
I like wrestling, so I'll go for WWE 2K24, even though it was probably a broken mess, as most WWE games have been since 2K took over.
Yeah, I want to get into the manga of the tennis, so yeah, I'm going to go for top spin. So best sim strategy, thoughts?
Oh, well, to be honest, I don't know anything about any of these games, so it's hard to really pick, so I'm just going to go with my non-existent love for anime and choose Unicorn Overlord.
That's what... Okay. Sorry, what did you say? Did you say Unicorn Overlord?
Yeah.
Okay. That's fine. Yeah, no, Unicorn Overlord is okay. Best family. Oh boy. I love family. Don't you love family?
Sometimes.
Okay. Let's not get too deep. Let's not get too deep.
I thought this was a therapy session. Come on.
No, not therapy for you. So, what's the best family genre for you?
Well, Princess Peach Showtime I heard was underwhelming, which is kind of funny because I actually liked the first Princess Peach game that came out on the DS.
That seemed like a really charming game, yeah.
It was very charming, and I'll be honest, the pixel art is half of what made it, but it had so much soul and passion behind it. This one seemed a little shaky, so I didn't end up buying it. I might down the line, but
I checked out the demo of it and played about half an hour, and I didn't hate the game. The game was fine, but it left me. It had like no impact on me. I just kind of left it thinking, yeah, that was cool. That was cute. This game is going to be perfect for like, again, children. So it's like the most appropriate choice for the best family. I don't know what the hell Zelda's doing here.
Yeah, to be honest, like my partner, who's she's 25 now.
Right.
she can't really solve a lot of Zelda puzzles whenever I do try and get her into the series. I don't
Okay.
know. I don't know what child or family is going to be able to get together and figure out. Well, maybe the whole family if they're all working together. But this seems like the
Who
most puzzle heavy Zelda ever.
exactly? Yeah. Because like you got to do the echoes and bullshit. But like calling this the family genre, I just think this whole genre needs to be nuked. Because it generally just feels like an excuse to nominate Nintendo and anything else that might match that. Because they nominated It Takes Two, which is a story about divorce and like
Wow.
marriage problems. Sonic X Shadow did not get nominated here, which makes sense. Because like that's not really a family game.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it's like Sonic usually gets into the family place. But see, Princess Peach Showtime did not review very well, you know? Like it reviewed fine, but it like because part of the nominations is based on, I hate to bring it up all the time, but Metacritic score, you know, like what reviewed the highest. But like Princess Peach makes more sense over Sonic X Shadow, but Zelda doesn't. So it's like, well, on what degree is this this category being rated? Is it games you play with your family or games that are suitable for a family? Like I don't know, it's so unclear for the best game appropriate for family play irrespective of a genre or platform. So why is Princess Peach here? It's like what? It's like not as good as some other games that came out this year. Monkey Ball as well would have matched here. I don't know. It's just a weird category that they need to sort out and be a bit more clear on what it is. I'm voting Astrobot. Astrobot is a fucking masterpiece.
I really want to play Astrobot.
Yeah.
It's like I've wanted a PS5 for a while, but it was mainly just because I didn't upgrade to the PS4 Pro, so I'm like I'll get a new console, which I'll be able to play newer games with, and also be able to upgrade and upscale all my older PS4 games. And also, I've wanted to play Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart for a while, and then Astrobot came around, and I was like, okay, there's also this, and then there's also
It's been coaxing you, hasn't it?
Yeah, it very much has. This game was like the nail in the coffin. I was like, I need a PS5, especially Dragon Quest 12, like we were talking about before, comes out for the PS5. I need one. Jeff.
GTA 6 as well, yeah. Keighley, give him a PS5. Keighley, he's not listening. He's playing Death Stranding. Well, just leave him. Okay. But like, oh my god, Astrobot is good, and like it would be worth the PS5 if you got one. You know, it's just another reason, like you said, on top of wanting to upscale your PS4 games, be able to play things that are coming out now. But oh my god, this is like a little part of me hopes this doesn't go to PC just because it fits the PlayStation platform so well. You know?
And it's all PlayStation references. Like that's basically the backbone of the game, beyond being a very good, competent platformer. Which, I mean, my favorite 3D platformer of all time is Psychonauts 2, and this game seems to borrow a lot from it. So you know, it's right up my alley.
I haven't played Psychonauts 2, so I can't really say if it does or doesn't. But for what I know about Psychonauts, I would say this is more Mario Galaxy and Kirby and the Forgotten Land than it is Psychonauts. Just because Psychonauts seems like the type of game to have like kind of crazy visuals, right? Where you're going through these worlds and stuff.
To be honest, I'm basing it purely off some of like the power-ups or abilities you get.
Right.
There's one where you slow down time so you can jump from platform to platform.
In Astrobot, right?
In Astrobot, but I'm sure there were games that did it before Psychonauts 2, but to me, in my mind, the first game that comes to mind when I think of that power up is Psychonauts 2. So I was like, I saw that in a review, and I was like, oh, Astronauts borrowing a lot from Psychonauts 2, at least in my mind.
The Astrobot does take a little bit from everything, you know, like even Sonic a little bit with the whole roll thing. Although I guess that was in Astro's Playroom, which do you know about those? Like, do you know that this isn't the first Astro game, or?
Yeah, I knew about the VR game, and there was there's also Playroom, which was a free thing on the PS5.
Yeah, so, it was like a tech demo.
Yeah. You know what? I'm gonna go for Astrobot because, to be honest, I want Sony to get into their head that they can make more stuff than, you know, the fucking wannabe movie slot that they've been making forever.
Which
there is a place for a game like this.
Yeah. Like those are good. Those are good, but like you need variety, you know. That's the
Definitely.
problem with Sony right now, I think.
I mean, look
Also,
at
or
look,
we
look
could
at-
just copy Overwatch as well. I think they should try that one more time. Best fighting.
I'm a Dragon Ball fan, so I want to go for Sparking Zero to some degree.
I tried out Sparking Zero at London MCM. They had like stalls everywhere.
Oh, nice.
It was fun. It was I only played like a few minutes and I was sweating the whole time. So like my viewpoint of it is a little bit clouded, but I had fun. I don't think it's gonna beat Tekken 8 though.
I don't think anything is really beating Tekken 8. Maybe because of maybe the niche audience will show up for Marvel versus Capcom arcade classics, but
It's wild that Multiverses is even here.
yeah, I mean, were fighting games that barren this year?
There was Rivals of Ether 2. I don't know if you've heard of those games. It's like a kind of platform fighter, like Smash. That came out this year. That totally could have replaced Multiverses. It wasn't like there wasn't like a ton of fighting games that came out this year, but Multiverses getting here, it's like I don't know what the jury's on. I don't know why they put that in here.
You know what? I do think it is a bit of a toss-up between Dragon Ball and Tekken 8.
Yeah.
I'm going to go for Dragon Ball just for personal preference sake, but I don't really have a skin in the game because I've not really as with most of these games, I've not played any of them. So.
Yeah, no, I get you. I get where you're coming from with the whole Dragon Ball thing. I fucking love Dragon Ball so much, but from what I played, I think it's a step below something like Tekken.
Yeah, definitely.
I wouldn't mind if it wins, but I feel like Tekken 8 deserves its flowers.
Tekken 8 is a fighting game, fighting game, whereas Sparking Zero is made for people who are nostalgic about, Tenkaichi Budokai, and even then, this is feels like a slightly more half-assed version of that to some degree because they don't even have original Dragon Ball characters in this version.
It's like I get where they're coming from because of the whole game development is just not the same thing that it was back in the Tenkaichi days. And Tenkaichi 3 came out on PS2 and Wii 2 years into that generation. So I think some people forget that that's why they were able to pull that off. I think they had to focus on Dragon Ball Super. I think that's kind of the half of the reason why we don't see any OG Dragon Ball games.
The next category is Best RPG.
This is your category. This is your category, bro.
In a sense, yeah, I am a RPG guy. Part of me wants to say Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. I haven't gotten to that game yet. I'm like I said, Kiwami 2 is the next one on my list, which for those who don't know is a third game chronologically in terms of the story. So yeah, I'm still very early. This is like the 8th or 9th game overall in the series, so I've got a ways to go. And I actually heard the story was a little underwhelming, and that's one of the biggest parts of a JRPG or an RPG in general. So
I did see that as well. Yeah, being someone outside the bubble, obviously I don't have a take, but it did seem like people were bringing up the story as a complaint quite a bit. There's an imposter among us with the DLC pick here, Elden Ring: Shadow of the Erdtree. Yeah.
Look,
go on. Yeah.
I've heard Elden Ring is a great game, but come on, DLC.
It shouldn't be. Yeah.
Is this DLC big enough to be considered a whole new game?
That's what people have been saying, but even if you can, because it's 40 hours or something, even if it's still DLC,
that slightly changes my take on it. But even then, it
feels wrong. It just feels wrong.
It feels like a bit of a cheat and a bit of a filler pick. To be honest, I can't think of anything better off at the top of my head that could have gotten a nomination, but
Persona 3 Reload came out this year. See, I think it is one of the highest rated games of the year. By the way, my vote goes to Dragon's Dogma 2, not because I'm a big Dragon's Dogma fan, but because I'm a huge Devil May Cry fan. I'm wearing the shirt. I'm a huge Devil May Cry fan. Itsuno, this was Itsuno's last game. He's the director behind Devil May Cry. He's been here since 3, and regardless of what people have been saying about Dragon's Dogma 2, I really want to get into this series, and this game looked fun. The combat looked fun. Just based out of my respect for Devil May Cry, I'm going to pop my vote to Dragon's Dogma and say that I think Elden Ring's just going to take it. It might not take the Game of the Year, but I think it probably will take this.
You know what? I'll join you with that, because the other picks, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, we could be all here all day with me explaining my disdain for the fact they call. Look, I don't even like Final Fantasy VII that much, the original.
Right. Yeah.
The fact they called that game remake when it wasn't a remake was not only confusing, but also kind of shouting the legacy of Final Fantasy VII. But they've been doing that for years. In my mind.
Wow.
Because the thing they've been doing, Final Fantasy VII was such a big success that since its release, they've shout out so much stuff. There was a movie called Advent Children.
Yeah.
There was a game called not Dissidia, sorry, Dirge of Cerberus or something like that. There's a million Final Fantasy extended universe tie-in things. And instead of giving us an actual Final Fantasy VII remake, which would have been really cool, they gave us what is essentially a pair of games that change and retell the story of Final Fantasy VII, which, you know what, if you prefer that, that's cool, but calling it remake is not only false advertising in my mind, but also a bit weird and a bit, I don't know, it kind of shits on the whole idea, but a lot of long-time Final Fantasy fans seem to love it, so who am I to say it sucks?
Yeah. What I was going to say, I'm not a Final Fantasy fan. I don't know as much as you do on this subject. From an outside perspective, I kind of like the idea of a remake changing things. But like, I totally get where you're coming from. A lot of people have kind of expressed the same thing with, it's a remake, it should be the same thing. I kind of like a remake that does something different, as it allows it to be, because like you can play Final Fantasy VII on modern platforms. I get why people would want something along the lines of Mario RPG, like the remake that did it for that. Wait, what did you vote for RPG?
Dragon's Dogma 2.
Dragon's Dogma 2. That's fine. Okay. Best action adventure. This is an interesting category.
My goofy little platformer brain is zoning in on Astrobot. I heard the Silent Hill 2 remake was good.
Yeah.
I don't think Echoes of Wisdom is even sniffing the top spot. I don't know anything about the Star Wars game or the Prince of Persia game, really. So I'm going for Astrobot. What are you going for?
I'm going to go for Astrobot, obviously, because it's like such a great game. It's the only one here that I've really played. I have heard very, very good things about Prince of Persia, like more than usual. So it's been kind of on my radar. Like I want to check it out at some point, because it's a Metroidvania, if you don't know. And
cool.
They didn't fire the team that made it, but they took the team and they moved them on to different projects. Maybe Rayman. I don't know if you heard about that.
Wow, cool.
Star Wars Outlaws seems like an Ubisoft game, like enjoyable, decent, nothing special. So it was a big surprise to a lot of people that it even got the nomination here. It's Star Wars Outlaws. It sticks out, even to someone who hasn't played most of these games. It kind of sticks out compared to, like you said, Silent Hill 2, which seems beloved. Silent Hill 2 has the same, I think, level of, like, same Metascore as Zelda does. So logically, it should go to Astrobot, but it doesn't. It's not really an action adventure. It sticks out here for me.
It does, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. It's the one I want to personally vote for, even if it doesn't necessarily fit into the category, I guess.
Same. What I think's gonna win is a toss-up between Silent Hill 2 and Zelda, because I feel like even on the jury, even if people love Astrobot, they're gonna be like, well, it's not really an adventure game. Which I think this category should be named to Best Adventure, not Action Adventure, but that's besides the point. I find it hard to believe Astrobot will win, even if it's the highest rated game here, just because it doesn't really match, I guess, what you think of when you think of action adventure. I'm gonna go over Astrobot, but I think Zelda's probably gonna take it, if I'm being honest. Best action game. What are your thoughts?
There's not anything that's really jumping out at me. Stellar Blade seemed like one of those trend games that people talk about for like a week, and then it just poofs into nothing.
Yeah, right.
I heard Black Myth Wukong was fairly solid, so maybe I'll go for that. What's your pick?
So I actually did play Stellar Blade and Black Myth Wukong. Well, the first 2 hours, because on PS5, what they do is you can have a little trial, 2 hours of the first 2 hours of the game.
Cool.
So yeah, I actually have kind of some thoughts on Black Myth Wukong and Stellar Blade. Black Myth Wukong is a Souls game.
Right.
It's good. I actually did enjoy it more than I was expecting to, but it's a Souls game. It's got the same format. It seemed really overhyped though, like extraordinarily overhyped. It sold like 25 million or something, and a lot of people were saying it was Game of the Year. And I can kind of see what people say, why people would say that. Black Myth Wukong's bosses, from what I played, the boss designs were like the thing that stuck out most to me. It's based on the Sun Wukong thing, if you aren't already aware. So it's kind of a retelling of that story. The gameplay was fun. It was good. It seemed like something I would enjoy playing generally, but I'm not really a Souls fan. Those aren't the type of action games I generally enjoy. The action games I generally enjoy are stuff like, well, supposed to be stuff like Stellar Blade, but I do not have positive things to say about Stellar Blade. It's extremely derivative of other things, especially Nier Automata. Like, I haven't even played Nier Automata yet, and I could tell from a glance that this is just aping all of that. And do you know what a character action game is?
No, not necessarily. I don't think I've heard that term before.
Yeah, so character action games is the genre that something like Devil May Cry or Bayonetta is. That's
right,
like,
yeah. I have those types of games. Yeah.
Yeah. So because of the rise,
I would have called them like a hack and slash.
Hack and slash. Hack and slash should be the name for it, but for me, when I think of hack and slash, I now think of Musou type games. So it's like, yeah. I mean, character action I think works a bit better than hack and slash does, but
oh no, it did seem like a bit of a kind of like a more weeby Bayonetta to me. So yeah, it can't decide whether or not it's a Souls-like or a character action game. From what I played, at least, I thought it was fine. Like it seemed fine, but the visuals, the story, oh my god, the story was boring. It was like so dry, so bland. I don't even feel ashamed of saying that. I think a lot of people agree. I thought the gameplay was fine. It was fine, but holy shit, it got reviews, and the things people were saying about it didn't really match up with my experience. But I only played 2 hours. I'm sure that like 10 hours in, the things you get, the abilities you can do are like, wow. I've changed my mind completely. If I had to say, I think Black Myth Wukong is going to take this, for sure. The game was too big. Yeah, go on. Yeah, I guess that would be what I'm giving my vote, I guess. Mainly because I don't really have skin in the game with any of these games, so...
Yeah, fair. Best mobile, what do you think is going to get it?
To be fair, I've recently started hearing about Palatra, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
I've recently started hearing about that a little more. Personally, I've been getting into the Pokemon trading card game, but I got into TCG Live, which is a PC version.
Ah, okay.
This is like the more downsized, like phone app version of the game.
That's what I figured it was. Yeah, I figured it wouldn't be as like feature rich as actually playing the card game.
It's definitely a downsized version. At least that's how it seems.
Do you think it's gonna get it?
Maybe, because it's recently I've seen a lot of people saying, "Hey, I'm on this game now. I'm on. Follow me and add me on the new Pokemon TCG game." So I'm like, wow, more people are getting into the game, which is really cool. So that might be one of the ones that wins it.
It could definitely be like
I'll give it my vote because I'm
fair enough. You're a Pokemon maniac, yeah. I think Pokemon could definitely be a front runner, for sure. I don't think it really stands a chance against Balatro, mainly because Balatro was able to get a Game of the Year nomination. It's the only Game of the Year nominated game here, and I can't really say much about the game because I haven't played it. But for a card game to get this much love, I think speaks volumes. There must be some kind of quality there for it to get to that status. The buzz around when it came out has been kind of consistent in terms of people saying, yo, I played Balatro for 10 minutes and I'm addicted. Yeah, I think Balatro's gonna get it. My vote is gonna go to AFK Journey just because I'm trying to be different. Best debut
I think
indie.
best debut indie might be Balatro again.
Yeah, it could be. It could be any of these. These all seem like quality. Animal Well looked really good. The vibes of it. I don't know if you saw it. You know, that's the Donkey game. If you heard of that.
I've not. Oh, I did know Donkey made a game, but I didn't really look into it.
He didn't make a game. He published it, but this is the game.
Yeah.
The game he has been publishing. They made like a few hilarious videos about it. Back when it came out, like to market it. The game genuinely turned out to be one of the highest rated games of the year, alongside Balatro. Considering this is a debut indie game, it could be Animal Well. Even though, like I said before, Balatro is like a Game of the Year nominee, so it's tipping towards there. I can see Animal Well getting it. Keighley, no, Keighley, no, get down, stop, no, bad. Jesus Christ, I don't even want to tell you what he was doing.
Oh God,
I don't. Okay.
He's always up to some kind of mischief.
He drank a little bit of caffeine, and he's just been. I don't know. He's just been out of his mind. Okay, let's get back on track. All right, best independent game. This is basically just a repeat of what we just said.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
The only other game that's really caught my eye.
Yeah.
Is this game called the UFO 50?
Yeah.
I heard about it until the Game Award nominations came out, and I was like, well, you know what? I like aliens a lot. Anything with the name UFO always catches my eye, or anything to do with aliens.
That's fair.
So so that is interesting me, but I haven't played it.
Do you know what it is?
So maybe that's no idea. No,
it's not one game. It's 50 games. That's why it's called UFO 50. It's 50 games in one. And what stands out about it is that apparently every game is like actually good. I saw gameplay of it. I watched. I can't remember who it was. I think it was Easy Allies, playing the game on stream, and it was impressive. Like every game actually looked like it could be a release of its own, just in terms of quality. There's like tons of features. They aren't like throwaway games. It's not like WarioWare, you know, like where everything is like a bit throwaway. It will go to Balatro again. This is best indie game, and that will go to what got the Game of the Year nomination, but. UFO 50 could take it, really. Yeah. There seems to be a lot of love for in that release.
You know what? I'm going to go for UFO 50. I'm sold on the concept alone. So
it's a very unique release. Best
community support.
Fortnite.
I mean, they've been supporting the hell out of it forever, so
it's impressive. I'm voting for Fortnite based on one thing, and it's the fact that they added Peter Griffin. I got the battle pass. I grinded the battle pass when they added that. I got it, and I played the shit out of Fortnite for like a month.
Damn, I've only poked my head around to play Fortnite a little bit here and there. I've never properly gotten into it, but it seems fun. No, since they introduced no build, that's all I've ever really played. No build. I never really got into the building or any of that type of thing.
We're two different types of people, because I love build. I don't like no build at all. Well, not at all. It's still Fortnite, so it's still fun, but I'm there for building. But like I get where you're coming from with that.
Baldur's Gate 3, is such a beloved game, but
yeah,
I couldn't even tell you how they've been supporting the community. Same with Final Fantasy. Was this? 14. Okay.
Final Fantasy 14.
I was going to say, why? I was like, why 16 here? It's a single player game, but 14. Fair enough. Yeah. No Man's Sky, it's come a long way since its release.
Yeah.
So part of me wants to say, hey, you know what? The fact that they've, actually turned it into a half decent game these days. I want to give it to that as well. But
I feel like
honestly, could go with Fortnite as well. I don't know.
I'm gonna vote for Fortnite, but on this subject, it's like No Man's Sky and Final Fantasy 14 and also Fortnite have they've all turned up in this category. Like over the past 7 years or whatever, they've always turned up in this, and I think also on best ongoing, which these two should be the same category. So I think there is a little bit of like, oh, we're tired of these games. So like, in that I can kind of imagine them not winning based on that, especially because Baldur's Gate 3 here is a nuclear bomb. Helldivers 2 was a big release. I don't think these three are going to win. I think it's going to be between Baldur's Gate 3 and Helldivers 2. And when it comes to that, it's kind of hard to really imagine anything but Baldur's Gate 3 winning. It's like it's kind of like Elden Ring being here. I'm gonna vote for Fortnite though.
You know what?
Hell yeah. Best ongoing again. What we just said times 2, except Destiny 2 and Diablo 4 are here, I guess.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, we can go for Fortnite again if you want.
I'm gonna go for Fortnite. Yeah. Although I guess Destiny 2 did have a big release this year, like the what's it called? It was a really genuinely really well liked expansion pack called, I think, The Light of Hope or something like that. I'm not caught up with Destiny. I've only played here and there. People bitch about Destiny a lot, so for that to actually be well liked, I think is it's cool. Best performance. Keighley is saying that he should be here.
You know what? I agree. He's been doing nothing but yapping this whole video. I think he should be. He needs to be on it.
He needs to shut the hell up. I agree, but like he's not. You won in a game, Keighley. What are you talking about? I can't even with this guy. You know, I'm gonna vote for Brianna White.
Sure.
I like the cut of her jib. You know, best audio design. Let me just scratch my chin and think deeply about this one.
Is this is including, like, I guess, soundtrack and sound?
No. Actually, so yeah. It's just sound effects. So it's like how the game sounds, you know, stuff like footsteps, foliage, which I think Hellblade 2 does crazy shit with that in terms of making you feel, because like it's about, I think the character Senua is schizophrenic, I think.
Oh right, yeah, I've heard about this. I think it's going to get my vote purely off of that, because I was thinking, isn't that that game? So
yeah, it is, because it's I think it's a horror game. There are same with Silent Hill 2 as well. Yeah, I think it's between those two. I'm gonna go for Senua's Saga as well. Actually, no, I'm voting for Astrobot. How could I forget my beloved best score in music? Astrobot's soundtrack is beautiful. They didn't have the soundtrack on Spotify immediately, so I had to go on SoundCloud and just listen to it over there. But I've nice. It's probably going to be in my Spotify Wrapped this year. That's how much I liked Astrobot's soundtrack.
Damn.
Also Stellar Blade has good music. I should also throw that in. Before I did this, before I started recording, I actually listened to a few songs from Metaphor and Final Fantasy VII, and I think Final Fantasy VII is probably going to take it.
Yeah.
Great. Those were great songs, and I can imagine if they keep that quality up for the whole game. Because Astrobot, I do love it. I do love the soundtrack, but a decent proportion of that game soundtrack is lifted from past games.
All right.
Yeah, you know, like from Rescue Mission and Playroom. I think Final Fantasy VII is probably going to take this. Stellar Blade did get a lot of acclaim for its music. Like with any nomination category, it's generally going to be a toss-up, but I think Rebirth is probably going to take this one. It took it in 2020. I don't know if you know.
All right, yeah.
Yeah.
Part of me does want to go for Astrobot again, because they show that you can do a little with a lot.
Yeah.
But at the same time, Metaphor, I mean, looking at our box art alone, it does look like such a grand game. I'm sure the in-game stuff looks just as good. But then there's also Elden Ring. This is a pretty stacked category.
It's just, when you think of art direction, you think of like who has the most unique visual style, and never kind of fits that category compared to all of these other games. I don't think Black Myth Wukong's going to take it. It's got some very, very cool enemy and boss designs, but being in the same category as Elden Ring, where Souls games are like, you know, they're kind of big with their enemy and boss designs. I'm going to vote for Astrobot. I think it really could be either one of these.
Same here.
Yeah.
I think one thing to remember when voting for these categories is, if people like a game, even if they don't think it's the best thing for the category, they'll still probably vote it. So like we're doing, we're like, oh,
that's true.
Astrobot. So like, there might be people who love Wukong, and they're just like, yeah, fuck it, why not? I don't want this fucking baby game about a robot to win.
That's
so,
honestly, that's
okay.
something I was gonna say before. Is Astrobot's gotten into a lot of these categories, but I don't think it's gonna win just because of that whole, that whole mentality of this isn't a real game. This is a kid's game.
Yeah.
When it's right next to
unfortunately.
something like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, that mentality is gonna take over. Of it's not as grand, man. Like it's unfortunate.
Yeah, even Mario games don't necessarily get the respect they deserve.
Yeah, that is another thing. It is an exclusive. That does have kind of a factor in terms of like, oh, if I haven't played this, how am I going to know to vote for it? But to be fair, Astrobot did get into these nominations. I just don't know if it will win a lot of them. But best narrative, there's really no point even having the discussion. We don't I didn't play any of these games. I don't know the narratives.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah.
You know what? I'll just give it to Silent Hill.
That's
2. You know
actually
what?
that
Why not?
reminds me. That's a remake that they put in here.
Yeah.
Do you think that's a bit odd? It's like it's like the narrative is apparently basically the same. It's not even like Final Fantasy VII where they changed some things. So Silent Hill 2 is like basically just the narrative from 23 years ago. Do you think that's weird?
Yeah, I guess it is in a sense. If it's a good game, it's a good game. If it was back then and it still is, then fair enough. And if the story's good, the story's good.
That's true.
Fuck it, it's getting my vote
like,
just for being different.
Yeah, I'll give it to Silent Hill 2 as well. No, I was gonna say I don't really mind too much that it's there because like the Game Awards was made in 2014, and it's not like Silent Hill 2 ever got a chance to be nominated for this exact thing. So I can't really be too mad. Apparently the story is great. Best game direction.
All of these games were fairly critically acclaimed, from what I understand.
Yeah,
They were like all around well received. They weren't really like best game direction. It's a bit of a vague category to begin with, and all of these were critically acclaimed. So it's not like we can even.
This is the Game of the Year lineup, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I don't really know what they're asking for when it's game direction. Are they talking about like the director, the actual director itself, what he contributed, or they're talking about like, because they're talking about creative vision and innovation in game direction and design, but it's like, why is Black Myth Wukong here then? I've played it. I've only played 2 hours, granted, but I almost guarantee it's not like innovative. It's a Souls game through and through. Well, again, I can't really say it through and through. I've only played 2 hours, but I can't imagine it being that different. So it's like, should that really be here? Like, what did Black Myth Wukong really bring to the table that some other games maybe did that this game didn't do? Is it really that unique of a game? It's like, I don't know. There's definitely some. I guess I just have a problem with like, what exactly does best game direction mean? Because it just feels like
I think
the idea of the game,
what it is, what made it what it is.
The bones.
Like so like for example, Astrobot could have easily just been another shit tier platformer.
Right.
Another B tier platformer. Instead, it's A grade minimum, arguably S tier for a lot of people who've actually played it.
Yeah.
Unlike myself, but yeah. So I think the direction of Astrobot is what made it what it is. Same with Final Fantasy VII and Metaphor, and the Elden Ring DLC.
Yeah.
To make
something
Belatro,
new,
whatever it's called.
Belatro. Yeah.
So something new and as addictive as you were saying.
Right.
You need good direction. So I'm guessing that's what this category means.
Yeah, I don't think Elden Ring and Black Myth are going to take it, just based on, like, Elden Ring is heavily based on Elden Ring as a game already, so it's like the direction's already done, right? And Black Myth Wukong is good, it's fun, but it's not changing the industry. And same with Astrobot, like Astrobot is such a unique game, man. Like they keep, okay, I think they keep the ideas flowing. Like, it's every single level there's something new, and they take what that new idea is, and they express it to such an extent that you didn't expect. Such a great game. I think,
Yeah.
based on what you said, I think Astrobot is probably going to take this.
You know what?
I feel pretty confident.
Also spoiling my Game of the Year nomination
Yeah.
or pick. It's also Astrobot.
Oh, really?
With this.
Seriously, that's crazy. I would know. Oh, Keighley's saying he's. Oh no, he's saying he's voting for Death Stranding. Keighley, Death Stranding isn't here.
Yeah, I do think Astrobot deserves Game of the Year. It's such a breath of fresh air.
Yeah, yeah.
Even as someone who plays Nintendo games, it's such a breath of fresh air to see Sony try something new and succeed at it. Coming right off the bat.
Of Concord.
Of Concord.
Oh my god.
And I mean, they made another misstep with a PS5 Pro, but the less said about that, the better.
Yeah, I don't think anything is going to be comparable to Concord. Even the PS5 Pro looks like a miracle. Divorced from my bias, I really do still think that Astrobot deserves this category. Just, it takes a lot of creativity to come up with a bunch of ideas and actually make them work and have them be memorable. And that's what they've done with Astrobot. I saw this clip of how they come up with ideas. Is what they do is they have like a wall of post-it notes. Everyone draws on the post-it note their ideas, and then they whittle it down. And that's just stuck with me because I don't think that's something you can really say for these other games. It's just that level of creativity you need.
Creativity, passion.
Yeah, like it's more than just having cool ideas. Like, you've got to be able to pump them constantly in a platformer that's so hard to do. That's why this such a hard genre to succeed in. I'm just gonna skip to the next category. I think, like, I really we're already on Game of the Year. Oh shit.
Yeah.
Oh, what? I thought there were a few more categories here, but okay. Game of the Year.
I mean, yeah, like I said, I thought that's what we were talking about this whole time. We'd already moved on.
Seriously,
but,
what?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I just clicked on Game of the Year.
Yeah. But yeah, Game of the Year, right? For all of the reasons you just mentioned and what I also mentioned, I'd say Astrobot. I think it's the game that's going to bring a change. It might be the game that makes Sony wake up and make them commission Naughty Dog to make a new Japanese. I don't think I could go that far. I think Sony talks with money. Astrobot has sold 1.5 million, which is good, but I don't think they'll be changing their plans too much. I think they're just going to keep funding Team Asobi so they can fill that niche. But yeah, I do think you're right. I think if Astrobot wins Game of the Year, it's going to be really good for the industry. Obviously, that was me exaggerating a tad.
Yeah.
But I do think there will be some part of Sony that's like, there is money here.
Yeah.
We can't just dip into that Nintendo adjacent fan.
Japan Studio 2 and Japan Studio 2, the sequel.
I don't think there's anything else on this list that I could vote with in confidence over Astrobot, and I desperately want Astrobot to win this.
Yeah, okay, I haven't played the other games, but I'd really, for me personally, because I get at the end of the day, this is all about opinions. There's no real objectivity to be made. The subjective part of me is saying I think Astrobot deserves this. Really, I know it's probably not going to win this, even though it's high up in the score. Elden Ring is here. The fact that Elden Ring even got here, I think, suggests that it's going to be between either Elden Ring or Final Fantasy VII. I was really surprised that Black Myth: Wukong got the nomination here, by the way.
I don't know, it had a lot of hype. I think that's the main crux of why it's had so many nominations.
Based on that, like, Yakuza and Tekken both got higher scores. Silent Hill 2 even got... Zelda got higher scores than Black Myth: Wukong did. I think it does show that review scores on everything, when this game really was hyped. I think that just kind of broke through.
I guess I'm going for Astrobot.
I'm going for Astrobot. Well, what do you think is going to win?
Oh, what do I think is going to win?
Yeah,
you know what? Elden Ring, the Elden Ring DLC, Final Fantasy Rebirth, or Black Myth: Wukong, because of the more mature audiences they bring in, and the types of people that would actually really, really care about the Game Awards.
The thing is, I get where you're coming from. It just feels weird that someone will vote for Black Myth: Wukong when Elden Ring is right there, because it's like something that's done better, So
I think
that's why I can't really see Black Myth: Wukong winning here with Elden Ring in the same place. I feel like the audience overlap is pretty small, like pretty large. People that like Black Myth: Wukong are probably going to like Elden Ring as well. But yeah, I think it's between that and Final Fantasy VII. I don't want it to be, and I'm thinking maybe the fact that it's a DLC and the fact that there's been so much discourse about it not really belonging here means I guess people in the jury and audience wouldn't vote for it. Also, shout out to Balatra for being here. Like, it's really cool that an indie game is on Game of the Year. It's always cool to see that. Very cool.
To be honest, I hadn't heard of it until the Game Awards announced it.
A lot of people did not hear about it, and oh my god, the shit I was seeing. It's like, how could a shitty card game get a nomination? People were disrespecting it. I think it kind of backs up what we were saying about how some people just don't respect certain games being on the Game of the Year, which is why
that's why one of the reasons I think Astrobot probably won't win.
Yeah,
which is why I'm going to vote for it in spite of that. But I do think the front runner is the Elden Ring DLC because it does have that much more mature audience. Even people who haven't played it will probably be like, "Oh, well, this looks like the more real game versus
also,
this shitty card game."
To be fair, it's like the game journalists do make up 90%, so I think there's less risk of people like that, which is kind of why I'm glad jury takes up more than us. Because it does mean, like, Astrobot wouldn't be here if it was just a people thing. I think it's between Elden Ring and Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Yeah,
I tend to agree with that. Yeah, hopefully some of the games we voted for actually get their award.
Absolutely,
we don't look like a pair of idiots who just yapped for an hour or so.
I'm gonna be real. I think that's inevitable, but that's just a guess. I hope Astrobot takes up a few wins, and not just one. It's going to win a family game for sure, but I hope it takes a few things. Is there anything in particular you want to see announced at the Game Awards? Because
I don't think it'll ever happen because it's not a big enough game. But like we spoke about before,
Dragon Quest 12.
Yeah. I wouldn't even care if it's like them flashing concept art up on the screen. We need something because all we got was like the logo.
Yeah, that's a very
logo teaser, like literally some Metroid Prime 4 type beat. And look how many years it took for Metroid Prime 4 to even get a real trailer.
Seriously,
and I don't want that. I don't want that for Dragon Quest 12. It could be a while before we see it again, but I hope it's during the PS5 generation because I need more reason to pick one up.
I think there's a chance of Dragon Quest 12 being showed. When did they show the game first? Like, you said they showed like a title or something. When was that?
It might have been 2020, 2021.
Jesus Christ. Okay.
I'm going to double check this, but what would you like to see?
Me? What I would like to see is I would like to see Sega's Super Game. I would like to see more of that. Do you know what I'm talking about with the Super Game stuff?
Is that when they were reviving all their old IPs?
Yes. So it was the 5 trailer with Jet Set Radio, Crazy Taxi, Shinobi, Golden Axe, and I think Streets of Rage. Did I say that? There were 5 games.
Yeah.
They showed it off last year at the Game Awards, and granted, it's a bit early to see more of it, but I'd like to see something. The games they showed looked like they looked good enough to be shown because they did show gameplay in that big trailer. It's been a year. I'd like to see something, even if it's just one of the games. I'd like to see that. Besides that, Switch 2.
Yeah. I mean,
it won't happen.
Just so we don't completely skip over it, I got into Jet Set Radio this year.
Oh,
so I am very much looking forward to a Jet Set Radio 3. I think Future.
Okay.
I know the game has its fans, but I think Future was a bit of a misstep.
Really?
The original.
Oh, it's fun. I finished the game. I finished Jet Set Radio last year, but I have not gone to Future yet. How is that?
A lot smoother. But the level design is so weird. I can't think of an accurate comparison, but it's like the sequel / retelling, which is what that game is. It's not even really a sequel; it's a retelling.
Right.
Which, I mean, I guess Jet Set Radio wasn't really a story game anyway, but it's that sequel that's a lot more polished, a lot better in a lot of ways. Because I feel like the gameplay suffers a lot, and I hope Jet Set Radio 3 fixes that and goes back to the drawing board. And kind of gives us...
It's a reboot / remake, I think. They weren't really clear on what Jet Set Radio 3 is going to be, but God, it would be cool to see that at the Game Awards. So Yeah, I want to see Sega stuff. You want to see Dragon Quest 12. It's not going to happen. They're going to show us like
The Last of Us 3.
No. The Last of Us 3 would be cool, but like they're going to show us something. Keighley, what are they doing? Keighley is saying that about half of the show is going to be a new Valorant map. Oh, Keighley, what's your game of the year? Oh, right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, he said Death Stranding again. I keep telling him it's not there. I guess we're done. Game
Hopefully we'll see something about the Switch 2. Hopefully we'll see some cool announcements, and hopefully we won't have egg on our face by the time the show happens, but we shall see.
Next Thursday, baby. I can't wait. I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna watch it all night. I'm gonna be jonesing for the Astrobot wins. And yeah, Game Awards.